We just had March break, but it lasted about 6 months. Took a brief break, folks, but Out of Control Show is back, and we're happy to see you.
Welcome back, folks. Glad to be here, and let's get out of control.
Ruh-roh. What's out of control?
Who's out of control?
Where's it out of control?
And why is it always out of control, Kent?
Well, you know, Rusty, you know what's out of control? It's been a heck of a long time since we made a show.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy.
It's good to see you, bro.
Definitely good to see you.
I know I see you here
Cheers,
and there,
brother.
but I hope you're enjoying your summer and everything's going well. And to all you folks tuning in, we missed you. We just wanted to do a little show here and say that, hey, we didn't fall off the face of the earth, and we want to check in and hope you're having a good summer too.
Yeah, I hope everybody's doing good, and for all the people that are a little disappointed with our election results, hopefully you're managing, because I think we're trying to, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we're firing this back up, because we need to talk to people.
Well, we did get, roughly 20 or just over 20 episodes on the various platforms, Rumble, YouTube, and Spotify. We had to deal with some censorship, and of course, on all of these platforms, I don't care which ones, you do have to still watch what you say and how you say it.
That's right, and something we'll have to do is work on the key words and try and avoid those, or, because it seems like AI picks them up pretty quick, and then they just dial us down. And
yeah, and if the AI has its elbows up, we're pretty much hooped.
We're totally hooped, and by the looks of it, elbows are to the moon.
2025's been pretty crazy, but since it's beautiful out, we thought for the first time ever, we would change up the scenery, shoot a show outside. Hope you folks like it. Don't mind us. We do have to deal with the noises and the birds and the weather, so
right.
we're giving her a rip.
Hard to control Mother Nature.
It's hard to control Mother Nature.
Hopefully it doesn't rain on us. Yeah.
We'll have to scramble and hide equipment, but we'll figure it out. So far, 2025, I mean, every New Year's, we all hope to put the past behind us.
Right.
To have new opportunities, hope in the new year. And it just seems like shortly after that, every year seems, lately anyway, to be getting worse and worse.
Yeah, like I said in previous episodes, it's like the 2025 looked at 2024 and said, hold my beer, bro. And it's been, well, out of control ever since. We started off the year with a terrorist attack in the States there with the Tesla and the ex-Marine and whatever happened to that story. All these stories and all these events happen, Kent, and then all of a sudden, poof, you don't hear of them ever again. Nobody speaks of them, and we really never find out what the outcome is, and it's sad because, oh man, is it because things are happening so fast that we're just not going back and following up? I don't know, but that cycle is it's crazy, and it's only getting worse. It seems to me,
Well, now it's like so blatantly obvious. Speaking of that, what you just mentioned, how foreboding was it to start the new year off with a Tesla blowing up and burning in front of Trump Tower with what's come out this summer?
Right.
Regarding Epstein client lists and FBI and who knows what. Like, I can pretty much guarantee any of the real serious information that would really implicate super powerful people has probably been removed or deleted. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they have had more than enough time to scrub the evidence and basically clean it up for everybody else that could go down or implicated in this evil.
Well, look at how the American government has been handling this, though. It is out of control.
Well,
they ran on putting out the client list. They ran on putting people in jail. They had those influencers or whatever go to the White House that time,
right,
where they were outside with the binders that said Epstein list.
Yes,
phase 1. Well, what's phase 2?
Yeah,
just saying it never happened.
Yeah, it's
is that phase 2?
Yeah, it's not worth talking about anymore.
But how, it went from a dozen victims to 200 to I've seen mentions of upwards of 1,000 or more.
So
Does that mean there could be thousands of victims from this network of child abuse, but no one committed any crimes?
that's right. Well, look what happened to one of the key witnesses that's supposed to testify. Got into a unusual car accident, and then once she got out of hospital, she committed suicide. But before she committed suicide, or she what, I don't even know the damn term. Okay, she
Unalived.
unalived herself. Just before that, she told she made a public post stating that she wasn't suicidal and had no intentions on unaliving herself.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one, Kent. I've got to really work on these
I know.
key words here, but
Rusty, you can't blame yourself for being rusty.
well,
It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a hot minute.
So,
But
that being said, she's gone, and so but looks like she might have left a dead man switch. I saw a post there on X that she was saying that now that if she were to pass, that her info would be distributed amongst, I think, certain people and organizations. So hopefully that's happened, and she didn't unalive herself in vain, and we can move forward. But it's kind of weird how this all took a real big U-turn right after that tweet or that Elon put about Trump after their little bit of a squabble there, and why they're squabbling or what's the real deal there. We'll probably never know, but it was quite odd how they went
from buddy
to enemies, and
over that big beautiful bill. I guess
big beautiful bill.
Elon didn't like the legislation in it or whatever the details were, and he put out that tweet that said the reason the client list, and let's be honest, it's not like a list of people's names. It's going to be information, phone numbers, flight logs, all the information that could tie people, either financial transactions and all these things that if they can hunt you down and freeze your bank account for donating a little bit of money or protesting the government, then if they wanted to, they could hunt these people down. I'm sure they set up defenses and security and ways to try to get around things. But if the smartest people in the intelligence agencies really wanted to hunt these people down through various means, I'm fairly certain they could get some of them.
That's right. Well, of course they can.
Right.
So,
and that's like Elon saying that. Talk about a Tesla burning in front of Trump Tower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a little bit of foreshadowing in a way.
And then
that relationship just kind of.
And I'll be honest.
Down.
Like I went from really liking Trump because I liked that he wasn't like all the politicians, and I liked that he was messing with Canada and that. And honestly, I thought it was because for years the Liberals insulted Trump. And they used his name as like a weapon, like you're taking a page out of Trump's playbook, and they were insinuating racism. And I mean, for years and years, the Liberals basically weaponized Trump's name against Canadian conservatives, and then Trump turns around and pretty much endorses Carney, and then all the elbows up talk.
Well, I thought maybe he was playing a little reverse psychology there, because I thought. The people that have TDS, right? We all know what TDS, the Trump deranged syndrome. I would have thought that they would have did a complete flip on Carney, seeing as he was a total opposition with Pierre. And I thought maybe that would have helped out, but it did quite the opposite. And everybody dug in with Carney, and, and what was the result of that, Kent? We went from he's going to be hard on him to he just folded. I watched the videos. He folded. He didn't say a damn word. He didn't stick up for nothing. He just basically bent over and took it like a man.
I mean, I don't know Carney that well. He Eastern Canada basically voted for a guy who didn't live in Canada, and it just came out that his conflict of interest, he has like 103 or 106 conflict of interest, meaning he is invested in certain companies where if he were to give subsidies or any sort of tax taxpayer-funded support to various companies that inadvertently or purposely he could enrich himself. Like Brookfield owns modular housing,
Oh, what do you know?
right?
And
And what are they pushing?
what
right?
are they doing? How
Right.
many people have we brought in the first 6 months of
Yeah.
2025?
Guess who needs a lot of cheap housing?
Right. And so what are we now? We got to build 5 million homes because the last tally there, what last year was about 4 million to actually properly house everybody, and now we're going to be up to 6 because that's if the pace continues and we're at 800,000 in the first quarter. We're gearing up for 1.6 to 2 million people. And where are we putting these people, Kent? Like I keep saying, it's a crime against humanity in my opinion, because we're bringing people here to a climate that isn't very nice, and it's one of those. So where are we putting these people at when it's 40 below? Where are they going?
Well, I have seen recently more and more, like on YouTube, for example, there are a lot of videos of recently arrived immigrants to Canada. And they're making videos telling other immigrants not to come here because it's so expensive, and what they were promised and what they thought things were going to be didn't turn out to be true. So we have a prime minister who basically didn't live in Canada. He had like it was just reported, all with his conflicts of interest, the 103 or whatever. But he was invested in roughly 500 or 600 companies, personally, financially, investments. 97% of those 500 to 600 investments were in America. So Eastern Canada got distracted by Trump and trade war talk. They put their elbows up and they voted for a guy who just kind of swooped in from the background after advising Trudeau. The guy swoops in, hardly lived in Canada, and mostly invests all his money in America. And he's going to stand up for us?
Not at all. I just recently watched a video of one of his, I guess, superiors in the UK when he was working for the government there, and
Bank of England.
England.
Yeah.
Yes,
They warned us.
They totally warned us, and said he was a total train wreck. Well, as of right now, just as of yesterday, he's looking at increasing our national deficit another $600 billion.
Yeah.
Now that would bring us to almost $2 trillion. And I always ask this, and everybody out there should be asking the same question: is where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
Like we said, what kind of economical sense does it make to borrow all this money from who we really don't know? They always keep saying Bank of Canada, but look into the Bank of Canada. It's there's only a small portion that comes from the Bank of Canada, and then the rest comes from independent investors. So and independent banks. So who are we truly selling our souls to for this money, and who are we going to give it away to? We're going to give we're going to launder a few more $1 billion in Ukraine, Israel now, right? The Middle East, since we've, in this last 6 months has gotten very hot, and I thought, and we could still be, but things were heating up to a point where, Israel's now threatening China, and saying, you're not going to deliver these jets, and like we're teetering on the edge of destruction here, and we're not ready for it. And nobody wants to really talk peace. Like, it's
even Trump. Remember when Trump was running and he said, I will end the Russia-Ukraine conflict like my first day or before I even walk into office?
Right.
Like within the first 24, 48 hours?
Yeah.
They would have never attacked if he was in charge. Now they just announced, Trump's administration, that they're sending weapons and money to Ukraine.
That's right. So
he went from, we're releasing all this information to protect children, to it doesn't exist, it was a hoax.
Yeah.
To we're going to stop war, to, well, we're going to fund a whole bunch more war.
Well, I can see these, well, it's a powder keg right now, and I can see both those wars turning into one great war because, let's face it, it's NATO and it's China, Russia, and, well, the communists. I don't even know I think it's, is it all staged, Kent? Because it's crazy. I can't even keep up on whose factions who are the good guys, who are the bad guys. It's crazy. It's out of control. It's literally out of control.
It is.
And it seems like the fuse has been lit. And, well, I guess we'll just have to sit and wait, and hopefully nothing serious goes on, because some of those exchanges between Israel and Iran,
Well,
all it needed is a couple of those missiles to have nuclear warheads, and it would have really changed things. And, hey, that's still a very big possibility here. So hopefully it never gets to that point. But, wow, we're close.
America bombed Iran to smoke their nuclear facilities, apparently, and they shot a couple down the hole, down the old shaft, the underground bunker buster. Hey, how you doing? I've got another something that's out of control, good sir. The rise in the support for independence in our side of the country, Albertan Independence. What are you thinking of that? How you feeling about that?
Well,
tell me.
It's a mixed bag there, because I really am a patriotic Canadian, and I love this country. Unfortunately, I'm not in love with the people that are running it and what they're doing to this country. And because of that, being in this province and, our small population, we don't have much say what that government does. And even with the three provinces, we still can't outvote them. Like they're calling the election before they're done counting Alberta and BC. So, and we see that all the time. And it's such an imbalance there that they're trying to steamroll
Well, they're not trying.
They are steamrolling. We are now signed up on the pandemic treaty. Now that was our very first show that we talked about, and the pros and cons of that treaty, and we signed right up. And wouldn't you know, at the same time we signed ourselves up, RFK Jr. took them out of it. They're doing everything to defund and shut down the CDC and the World Health Organization, because they know.
So back to Alberta independence, though.
Well, that's right. Okay, that's right.
So how are you feeling? Are you feeling good about it, bad about it? Are you feeling it's possible?
I think it's possible. I guess it really depends on how a referendum. Now, this will have to come from the people, right, Kent? We all get a say if we want to.
One vote.
One vote. And as we've seen in the past, how can we secure, and this would be a major vote, right? Because it really isn't an election. We're just referendum would be the correct term. So this referendum would be major, and we'd basically be voting for either staying. Well, how secure? Are we going to do that with machines, voter machines? Is it futile on the voting until we can basically guarantee that it's secure? So
that's a good question,
right? And so
very good question.
I'm all in favor of it, Ken. I think that's the only way we can escape maybe the communist grasp that's taken over our country. But that being said, do we have enough people that are elbows down, so to speak? Or are there more elbows up people out there?
I would say,
because
I'm keep going. I don't mean to cut you off, by all means.
No, all I was going to say is this affects the whole country, and it's a very huge decision, right? Because we're going to fracture this country, and now whatever way that goes, if we stay independent, if we go to the 51st and become part of the U.S., that's something that, how do you feel about that talk? Are you prepared to be an American and give up the flag, give up the maple leaf for the stars and stripes?
Well, I respect and agree with almost everything you said except that last part, and I'll tell you why. And it's okay to disagree, because who am I to say that I'm right? That's what this show is all about, is talking about things, and that there's two of us here because we can't agree on everything. We
That's
should
right.
be able to look. I mean, we generally think the same way. Conservative, want things to go well, work hard, lower taxes, small government, less violence, crime, don't ban guns, like just live normally, you know.
Yeah,
I but
civilly.
we can still differ in opinion, and I believe
Well,
that's where we do here because
that's what we forgot to do, is agree to disagree.
exactly, and it's okay to do so. And
Absolutely.
I can change my mind, and I can learn, and I can think differently. Like it doesn't mean I'm right or I'm set in stone here. But for me personally, America, like I don't want American problems. I love their rights, their protected human rights and actual freedom. What I'm not a fan of is their debt. They're more in debt than Canada is. They have just as many problems as Canada does, or more.
Oh, more.
Their cities can erupt into riots. I mean, if we have a bad hockey game, Canadians freak out. But
Well,
we're not at the level of like L.A. riots and things like that. So I would prefer Alberta to be fully independent.
we would see.
Like there's a lot of little countries though, like Ireland, Switzerland, all these. Everyone's a little different, but there are a lot of countries that are 5, 6, 7, 8 million people that have survived the test of time. They have thrived and have done well for themselves. So that tells me, without having all the answers, that Alberta could do pretty darn good if tens of billions of extra dollars is kept in the province every year.
Just think what good that can do to our country, or the new country. I would say the Republic of Alberta.
Mm.
I would like to hope that we take the title of Republic and become independent from the tyranny. Now, that comes with a big.
It's a big price tag.
Well, it's a big price tag, and it's a lot of work because we're going to need a military. Like, we're not just going to need, I guess, I guess, country or a national police force. It's kind of weird thinking of Alberta as, an independent country, right? Just the thought of it is like something would be to get used to.
But our we've done previous shows like what is a Canadian? What is the Canadian culture or identity? And I mean Canada is so vast and there's so many. I think we discussed 6 to 8 different cultures from the East Coast to Indigenous to French to the West. And even though we are all under this banner of Canada, we are very spread apart. There's vastness in this country. Like you could fit Europe inside, and they have what, 30 countries, or I don't even know how many inside Europe. So I wish it didn't come to this. Like I love Canada. I love the thought of Canada, the nostalgia, what I grew up in, our military history, our families that went across oceans to fight for our freedoms and other people's rights and freedoms.
That's right.
And we did not earn the rights that we have right now, even though the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada is not worth the paper it's written on, as we found out. So I have come to the conclusion with the mass immigration, the out-of-control spending, that it breaks my heart to say, but I believe Canada is lost. And it might not be today and it might not be tomorrow, but it's coming. Because throughout the history of Canada, 150 plus years, liberal governments have been in charge roughly 75% of the time. And please don't get me wrong, 100 years ago, liberals were different than they were today. For most of Canada's history, liberals or conservatives could be in charge. And the country mostly moved generally in a good direction from what I could tell. We have our black spots in history. We have our things to apologize for and to be upset about. But at the end of the day, we can't change any of that, and we need to move forward. And the Canada I grew up in, safe, not much crime. Your parents would be like, stay out till the streetlights came on. Now it's like, I can't let go of my kid in a mall, And after the pandemic and the way that Canadians turned on each other, and now that, like, I've been lucky. I'm Albertan by choice. You know, I wasn't born here, but I spent half my life, adult life, in Ontario in the East, and I spent half my adult life now in Alberta. And I sometimes have a perspective that few people have that have only lived in one or the other. And I understand the bubble. I'm sorry to talk so much, but I'm just passionate about this.
Oh,
Because when you come from somewhere else and you come to somewhere better, and you can notice it, like I've said before, it's hard to explain, but more freedom, more rebelliousness, like the Wild West, where, you know, men still hold doors open for ladies. And it's kind of more like the old school Canadian morals and values. So when I speak of Albertan independence, I'm worried that the West is going to be the last kind of bastion or safe space for what Canada used to be.
well, that's what we're hoping, Kent.
Right.
And I'm with you. It's a hard pill to swallow, watching your country change right before your eyes. Now, let's just face it, this has happened. This is an ongoing thing that's happens all over the world. It's just are we fortunate enough, unfortunate enough to witness it and in real time? And it's happening fast. You know, this country is not the country that it was 15 years ago, right? And what is it going to look like in another 15 years? Is it going to be totally unrecognizable? So I'm with you. Maybe our independing is our only hope of keeping what Canada used to be. The unfortunate part with that is, you know, hearing what Danielle Smith has said in the past, she's still all for of, you know, increasing the population and bringing in another 5 million, in her words, 5 million people. So, and I think she was saying that because that would give us more seats and more voter and more say,
More tax base.
right, in the country as a country of Canada. So, and well, this is something I was just never even thought about there, Kent. If we were to be a 51st state, if we turned to be a 51st state, that would open the frickin' flood doors to the South, and we could find ourselves going from 5 million to 20 million. Right? Let's just face it. There's over 300 million people in that country, and a lot of them would like a change, especially, you know, coming up here with, you know, we've got lots of jobs. Well, I don't know if we have lots of jobs, but things would probably pick up because we drill, baby, drill, right? And
Well, the only thing that worries about that for me is just like Canada, it's not always going to be a Republican in charge in the States. Like Canada,
That's right.
Like Canada really is 60-40 left. If you add up NDP, Green Party, Liberals, every year they outnumber the Conservatives. And like I just previously said, throughout most of history, like 70-75%, Liberals have been in charge federally. So yes, Conservatives can win from time to time, and I hope they do. But it's like a blip on the radar when they're winning like 30% of the time. So the ruling party of Canada, the power is from the east, centralized around where Quebec and Ontario meet, Ottawa, the Laurentian areas, you know. And I'm afraid that even if Pierre wins election eventually, is he going to do what needs to be done?
well, look what
Like to protect Alberta?
Well,
or
here's-
is it going to be status quo?
Here's the thing that about Pierre, and I like the guy, I really do, and I think maybe his intentions are genuine, but he isn't very outspoken on some things that I think he should be, and that would, you know, tighten up his voter base. Like, there's a lot of anomalies that happened in the last election that nobody's talking about. We just found 121,000 votes, or and nobody's, you know, like, and some of these places were really tight. And
Only 120,000?
Only 120,000. Go figure, right? But yet, you know, he's not talking about it. He's not bringing it up. Like, I get it. He's focused on getting a seat and trying to do amass as many votes. But at the same time, they're pulling the same crap Elections Canada is as they did in his riding. And now, so that riding that he's going for will have the most candidates
Yeah.
on the ballot that's
Yeah.
ever seen in the history of this country. And like,
How is that not election interference?
isn't that election
Trying to
interference?
confuse people, or
Right?
perhaps old people.
I looked at the list of these people, and most of them are just independent unknowns. And well, I don't know. There is a price tag. Okay, there's a price tag to running in an election,
And I think you need signatures too.
and signatures.
X amount depending on the level.
Right. So where are all these people coming from, and who are these people?
Some of them aren't real. I saw a couple of the names, and some of them definitely aren't real.
Right. So,
It could be the same person.
and they
signing
did
up
that,
10
and
times.
okay, so they did that in his riding. They actually changed the riding. They moved the borders around so that a real condensed liberal area was now shifted into his, which overthrew his overall. Like, that guy had that thing sealed up for 20 years, and then just before the election they changed the borders and they put 91 people on the ballot. 91, like nobody else had 91 people on a ballot except for him. Why? Because he truly is a threat to the liberals, and you know, he does call them out, and that's what I like about him. Now, you know, where I've said this many times, Kent, and you know my opinion on it, but I honestly believe it's a uni party, and really they all work for the same crew. And let's just face it, these guys get in there, but they get in there on somebody else's dime. So who's really fitting the bill? And when you do that, now you're indebted to them, and what do you have to do to pay that debt off? And as we can see on both sides, shady dealings go on both sides of the fence. So I just, it's when you look at it, and I've said this before, with the globalists or the corporations and the lobbyists, if you're gonna, why would you only bet on one side when you have the money and resources to own both sides? So, is our democracy an illusion? I sometimes think it is, because you know, there's a lot of things that our opposition could be talking about that would gravitate to the people.
And
You know
they
what I
don't.
mean? And their silence is deafening.
Yeah.
Deafening.
And that's why I feel the way I do now. Like, I love Canada, but for survival purposes, I feel it necessary to now put my energy into Alberta independence, not because of what I hate, but because of what I love, right? So we are going to, we don't want to beat this dead horse here. We're actually have decided that we're going to try to do a series, perhaps 3 to 5 episodes, where we try to fully, in our opinions, explain the reasons for Alberta separation, the steps that could possibly be taken, who is taking action. Perhaps we could talk about the Alberta Prosperity Project and how that's going. And I really think that that's the path to true freedom and protected human rights. It's not going to be social media or the media. It's not going to be arguing online. I believe it's going to be Albertans hitting the pavement and speaking to each other, and
That's right.
and expressing in a reasonable way our differences of opinions, or what our expectations are, and perhaps maybe we can ease some of the people that are on the fence, ease their minds with reasonable solutions and answers. I mean, things like provincial police and Alberta pension. And think of the hundreds of thousands of jobs that would be created when the province has to take over responsibilities from the federal government if we were to become independent. Our potentially over time, our revenues would be higher. Our amount of jobs available would be higher. We could have brand new trade deals. And there's a couple things that really drive me. It's when people say, well, Alberta's landlocked. Well, we're already landlocked. We have our own country and our own people shutting us down and messing with us. They basically want as much money as they can get to spread around Canada via equalization, but they want to harm the way that we generate that through environmental campaigns, climate change, carbon taxes, and all the things they've been pushing. They want the money, but they want to harm the way that we make that money, or the major way. and it's like
It's out of control.
it's like trying to swim but filling your pockets with rocks.
That's right. Yeah. And we're slowly sinking into
So
the abyss.
we don't want to beat the dead horse here. We do want to do a series on this and hopefully interact with you guys, maybe answer some questions, maybe have some guests on. But we really just wanted to touch base. I'm sure if you're watching this, 2025 has been out of control. And I mean, I missed you, bro. It was good to see you.
Yeah, totally good to see you,
We're
brother.
going to have to do this more and more again.
You bet. I missed it. It's fun.
And we missed you guys.
You bet.
So if you're happy to see us as much as we're happy to see you, please like, share, and subscribe. Perhaps comment down below and share this video around because it's going to be an interesting rest of the year.
Absolutely, Kent.
So if you see folks in Alberta getting froggy, it's because we were getting ready to jump.
Splitting the sheets, brother.
All right, folks, keep your sticks on the ice.
Take care. Peace be with everybody.
Bye now.
Ciao.
This is Canada. Maple syrup and like Cabernet. Kick your ass all hockey season. Mounties be riding horses.